Good day everyone, Gomus here with another DCS video, and today I got something real nice. In this video we take a look at the new Normandy 1944 map, as well as the World War II asset spec that is currently in alpha for DCS. Now it has been a while since my last video, since I don't have that much time at the moment, but the new Normandy map went into closed beta testing recently, and Wax was nice enough to provide me with the key for it so that I can take a look at it. And that is certainly a good reason to make a little bit of time. The new map is something I have been looking forward to since a while, so I'm excited to finally get my hands on it, and of course to make a little video and give a quick overview and an early look of the new map. So let's take a look at a little bit of footage I recorded on the new map and talk a little bit about it. The usual disclaimer at the start: this is still an alpha, so things are subject to change. Now, the Normandy map is of course part of the DCS World War II project, which was kickstarted some time ago, and of course includes also the World War II airplanes. And finally, getting the map as well as the World War II assets back is a big boost for the World War II scenario in DCS, since so far we only had the World War II planes, but no proper map and units for this scenario. And the Caucasus map that was usually used for every scenario that does not play in a desert in general in DCS, including the World War II scenario, is many years old and simply not very pretty anymore, though a rework of that map is in progress as well. But in any case, with the old map, DCS simply looks outdated, even though the planes and units on their own look great. The new map is a significant graphical update and quite detailed even at low altitude, and I hope I got some nice footage to show that off. And while the map depicts Normandy in 1944 and is primarily meant as a World War II map, you can of course also fly newer planes over the map and use the map as stand-in for more modern scenarios, like Cold War or even Vietnam. The terrain itself over Normandy is a lot flatter than over the Caucasus though, which makes hiding in valleys from radar or missiles a lot more difficult. That might lead to a very different feel when playing over the Normandy map in a modern scenario compared to Caucasus. We also have lots of forests as well as the trademark hedgerows over Normandy, which ground units can use to hide in. Now, the Normandy Alpha also comes with version 2.1 of the game. This new 2.1 version of the game is an upgrade over the 2.0 version that was used for the Nevada map so far, and both the Nevada as well as the Normandy map will run in this new version 2.1, so this is the first time that we have two different maps in one client, while the old Caucasus map still is on version 1.5 on a separate client. Later, when the Caucasus rework is done, all three maps should be available in the same client 2.5, as well as all future maps of course. Now, on top of the more detailed new map, what I think is quite noticeable in this new 2.1 alpha version are the new Pbr lighting effects, which make for a very nice lighting effects, for example in the cockpit or the metal skin you can see sometimes under the coat of paint of the skin of aircraft or ground vehicles. 2.1 also provides the option in the editor to switch between modern and World War II era countries, Germany and the Third Reich for example, or Russia and the Soviet Union. The Normandy map is a bit smaller than the Caucasus map, though still more than large enough for World War II warbirds, and also provides sufficient space for modern jets, I would say. Now, to be more specific about the extent of the map, the Normandy map, as you would expect from the name, focuses on northern France, mainly upper and lower Normandy regions, including all the cities and places in which famous World War II battles during and after the landing in Normandy have taken place, as well as the coast of Britain across the Channel from Normandy. Now, this is a later addition to the map. Originally it was planned to only have the coast of France and Normandy on the map, as it was specifically meant to depict battles after the landings in Normandy and the fighting in France itself, but that was later changed and Britain as well as several airfields there was added as well. So you can start missions, for example bomber escorts and the like, in England. However, since the map is focused on Normandy, it does not reach quite far enough to the east to really include Dover and Calais and airfields over there. Here in the Normandy region the channel is pretty wide, so Spitfires and Bf-109s will get problems with range flying over the channel here. But again, the map is mainly meant to depict a time where the Allies already had airfields in France themselves. Still, it is cool to have it as an option to start in Britain as well, when for example escorting B-17s that start from there, or when making missions that play before or during the invasion, before the Allies had airfields in France. I think it would have really bothered a lot of people if Britain would be missing completely. Now, the map is one part of this alpha test. The second one is the World War II asset spec, which provides World War II era units to build World War II scenarios for the Germans, US and Great Britain. Currently we have a B-17 AI bomber, which does get the built-in option for World War II style box formations as well as carpet bombing, and on the ground we got a number of well-known tanks and vehicles. Tigers, Tiger IIs, Panthers, Panther IVs, Jagdpanzers for example, and Shermans for the US and the Cromwell as well as a Sherman Firefly for Britain at the moment. Also transport ships and landing boats like the Higgins boat for example, and a number of trucks, AA guns and other vehicles. Now, the pack is also supposed to grow over time with new ground and air vehicles, for example AI Hawker Tempests and Focke-Wulf 90 Antons, or a Type 7 submarine were mentioned. Now, you can buy the map and asset pack either standalone or as a bundle, so you can buy only the World War II units or only the Normandy map. I guess the option to buy only the map makes sense in case you want the map for other scenarios than World War II. Not sure why you would get only the World War II units without the World War II map, but the option is there. I do hope we will also get some beginners bundles that provide a World War II plane, the map and the assets back at a discount. Because now with the map and assets, DCS World War II becomes much more interesting as an option for simulator players primarily interested in the World War II scenario. But for those new players also a lot more expensive to get into in the first place. A discount bundle deal for planes as well as the map and the assets would help with growing this part of the DCS community. Wax did mention in a recent Q&A that bundles that include the plane as well as the map and the assets are a possibility. I certainly hope so, since I think it is important to provide an easy and simple way for players new to DCS to get into especially the World War II part of it. Now, another thing that will be introduced into the World War II assets pack in the future will be the combined arms compatibility, which the World War II units in the alpha currently don't have. I assume Eagle Dynamics needs some more time to introduce World War II era sights and remove some options from the JTAG tool that World War II units should not have, like night vision and the like. In any case, combined arms compatibility is something that I hope will come sooner rather than later, since I am a big fan of combined arms in DCS. Combined arms gives you the ability to take control of ground units directly, as well as command large ground formations, designate targets for artillery, and most importantly gives you the ability to play as forward air controller for your buddies in planes and helicopters. And I think cooperative scenarios are just a lot more fun when the ground units you are supporting from the air are controlled and driven by a real person. Now, DCS is a flight simulator and does not try to be a tank simulator, at least not yet, so don't expect super realistic tank gameplay when you do combined arms, but still, I love having the option in a co-op or versus game for players to take over tanks or take them over myself and command on the ground, and witness close air support from the ground. For example, seeing your buddy in an A-10 or an Su-25 come down doing a strafing run on a tank or another target you have just designated. That's just very atmospheric. The biggest complaint I had so far with combined arms was that the old Caucasus map simply was not built for it and looked terrible from the ground perspective. The new map on the other hand looks great, even when driving in a tank and being really close to the ground. Here we have an armored assault on Pbr for example, in this case in a modern scenario using M1 tanks and M2 Bradleys. If you compare this footage with the one from co-op missions I did in the past on the old Caucasus map, for example with Bismarck, you can certainly see the difference. I expect I will in the future build my co-op maps on the Normandy map for this reason, both World War II themed ones as well as modern ones, simply because it looks a lot better. And I hope that the promised combined arms compatibility for the World War II units will arrive soon as well, so I can drive Shermans and Tigers as well. After all, a B-47 Thunderbolt is already in the works for Eagle Dynamics, and Polydynamics has announced it will continue its work on the JU-87 Stuka. So we do have nice additional options for air support coming up there for the World War II scenario, on top of the World War II planes we already have. Now, with all the trees and hedges, the terrain here is not particularly well suited for tank combat, but that is of course to be expected in Normandy. That means, on the other hand, that working together as a team in co-op missions, with for example recon helicopters or forward air controllers, should be a lot of fun, because your visibility is often limited. So it can be a real advantage to have a forward air controller on the ground that can relay the position of targets hidden in a tree line, or the other way around, to have air units relay the position of enemy tanks to the ground units when the guys on the ground can't see the enemy tanks yet through the dense hedgerows, so they can get ready for them. Also, the heavily forested landscape on the Normandy map also makes a decent stand-in for a Vietnam scenario, for the UH-1 Huey helicopter for example, or the F-5E Tiger. Here for example we try to keep an outpost from being overrun by the NVA with our Huey gunship, with limited success I have to say. In general, the map is great for flying helicopters in, I would say, with trees and hedges providing cover to hide behind. On the flip side, the terrain also provides nice cover for the enemy as well, so you have to be careful. Though with the Huey you don't do much hiding behind trees anyway, that is more for modern anti-tank helicopters. And I think I will work on a K-50 or Gazelle mission on this map next to test out in more detail how helicopter tactics work on the new map. With the improved trees on the new map, I hope they will provide proper cover to hide behind. The ones on the old Caucasus map did not. But that is something I have to test some more. Now, as I said, I think I will work on a K-50 mission next, and I hope I can also make a video of that soon, when it is done. Till then, that was a quick look at the Normandy map. I'm quite impressed with it. Now, I hope I could show you some nice footage of the map and provide some information. Well, and this is it for this video. I hope it was informative, thanks for watching, and maybe I'll see you next time.